Yeah, welcome to NTT20's League 2 recap, a weekend where the top three kept on marching, a gap very much opening up there between the automatic spots and the playoff spots. We are sponsored by Sky Bet and the Sky Bet EFL Building Foundations Fund, and we start at Cambridge, who beat Gillingham by 5-0. And I'm afraid, Gills fans, that it's always worth reminding the listeners who may not know this or remember this off the top of their head that in October 2023, Neil Harris was sacked by Gillingham. The club wished to go in a different direction. And 15 months later, in January 2025, Mark Bonner was sacked by Gillingham. They said they needed to make the change to give us the best possible opportunity of getting to where we want to be come the start of May. Neil Harris is the Cambridge United head coach. Mark Bonner is the Cambridge United Director of Football. Cambridge are third, Gills are 16th. It was 5-0. That must have been sweet.
Oh, I'd love to know the conversation between Neil and Mark post-match here, because they must have, they probably shared an embrace, I thought. Cambridge completely wiped the floor with Gillingham. It was spent a lot of this show in Championship and League One talking about teams who maybe they can still do it, maybe they can still fight their way in. Gillingham are one of these teams where I think are properly gone now in terms of like there is no jeopardy in their games. So to come away from home at a team trying to win promotion back to League One with two former employees being probably the two most important people at the club, looked to be a recipe for disaster, and that exactly it was. Dominic Ball scoring the first goal inside 2 minutes, and then a shot that Louis Appere deflected in to make it 2-0 at half time. Sully Kaikai with a cross that was diverted into his own net by Chirino.
Lenny Chirino!
For an own goal, Lenny Chirino. Kaikai was like, I'm not sure they're going to give me that one, so I better score another one. He made it 4-0 before Lavery profited from some good work by Ben Knight. 5 goals for Cambridge, not a single one scored by Knight, who played 90 minutes. No, it's a good thing.
He's good.
He's a good.
He's a good. No, it's nice. He's showing breadth to his game.
Exactly. Having previously been pretty reliant on him for goal threat.
There's something so neat about scoring in the second minute and the 91st minute and 3 goals in between for a 5-0 home win. 5 different
goal scorers, albeit one of them the opposition player.
That's good stuff.
It's just a fantastic day at the office for Cambridge. You kind of mentioned it with Gillingham, like what do they do now? It's just it doesn't matter who the manager is. It's Gareth Ainsworth now, someone who's had success in the past, whose style of football is normally pretty hard to beat, pretty dependable, pretty reliable in terms of picking up points. They started the season well, as they always do. They've massively fallen away, like they always do. Mark Bonner's win percentage as manager of Gillingham is 39%. In his final season in 23-24, in the Neil Harris won 6 of his 11 games. What?
Yeah.
So 55%.
Yeah.
Ainsworth this season's won 11 of his games, so 31%. Now, win percentage is a stat that I don't...
Bad stat. Yeah,
well,
it's pretty bad stat.
I would say it is definitely not the measure of managerial performance that some people use it to be.
Yeah.
For sure. Mm-hmm. But it does tell you what percentage of games managers win, which is also like not
really since
unhelpful. When? Points per game would be a better one.
I'd also say that specifically in this instance is more relevant than it can be, because broadly the context was the same for all of them, which was Gillingham are in League 2. We'd like to build a strong squad so you could take us out of the division, and we're going to sack you if you don't get close to that.
Indeed. And so it's almost like it might not be the manager.
Well, that leads me on to something that Brad Gallinson said in the press last week. He is concerned about the financial situation in League 2 and in League 1, and so he should be, because I think this is interesting. And look, I could do about an hour on the current financial situation in each division. It's a bit different in each league. It's pretty concerning in each league. But Gallinson came out above the parapet to talk about how much of a problem it is right now, and trying to kind of force some, I guess, regulatory change so that clubs stop losing so much money, so that player wages keep going up and up and up to levels that are, we're beyond unsustainable. We're like way beyond unsustainable at this point. And it has got worse over the last few years, even as clubs talk about understanding that they need to be more sustainable. They're getting less and less and less sustainable. So in this piece, which I believe was in The Guardian, I think it might have been Nick Ames, he certainly shared it, and that's where I saw it from, to credit that. The EFL opposed a proposal from 18 League One clubs to introduce a £4.7 million salary cap and a luxury tax for clubs who overspend. At League One level, there's a lot of work being done behind the scenes to try and work out ways to cap the wastage, basically the losses. Brad Gallinson came out to talk about the fact they're working on a similar plan for League Two and is hopeful they can persuade the league that change is necessary. He said it keeps these community assets sustainable, no matter how irresponsible, responsible, smart or dumb an owner is. It keeps the league highly competitive, which is really important. When you get promoted or relegated, it also allows you to be able to survive and not get stuck with either very high wages or very low wages, where you're just going to come right back down and go back up. So this is interesting to me because what Gallinson says is correct. His read on the situation is correct, and I agree that most likely the only way the clubs are going to stop acting so dangerously financially is by being forced to with more stringent rules. What I would say is football clubs have proved themselves time and time again to be very, very good at making their way around rules and finding loopholes in order to spend more money, because ultimately that's what they seemingly really, really want to do. I would also say that, and maybe this doesn't matter because maybe the message is still important, and it is still important. I'm pleased that Gallinson is dedicated to change, but I think a lot of people would have rolled their eyes at the messenger here, because Brad Gallinson's time in charge of Gillingham has been incredibly unsuccessful on the pitch, has come with a lot of fanfare about raising the playing budget, building competitive squads, high turnover of players, a lot of very punchy wages being offered to bang average League Two players, and they have not fixed anything, and the club or the team seems to be getting worse and worse. And in my eyes, that starts at the top with the decision making, with the culture around the club. And so it seems a bit ridiculous to me that Gallinson is the one that's going, oh, we've got a bit of a problem with sustainability in League Two, because the way that his Gillingham has acted in his time as the owner and chairman of that club is an example, not the main one, but an example of financial risk being taken too far at this level. So his own approach to succeeding with Gillingham has been heavy on money spent and light on quality decision making, patience, prudence, intelligent footballing decisions. And it's not like that stopped, him coming out and saying this makes it seem like he's kind of realised and now he's doing everything he can to like make Gills a bit more sustainable. But they spent a reported 250 grand on Ronan Hale in January, a 27-year-old attacker who is very unlikely to be a resale value asset for Gills, because they're not going to want to sell him this summer, and frankly no one would pay that money for him anyway this summer. He's only scored 2 goals. So they might look to sell him next summer, at which point he'll be a month away from turning 29, and no one higher up the pyramid is going to spend that money on a 29-year-old attacker. So I don't really get the feeling like they're actually acting in a way that suggests they want to be more sustainable and they want to bring costs down. Then there's the fact that they're doing so badly on the pitch at the moment that whether or not you change manager again, the playing squad, it seems widely accepted that huge overhaul needs to happen this summer, and essentially a whole new playing squad needs to be built in order for next season to be more successful. But obviously that's quite expensive as well. If they were to reduce their budget in order to lose less money, they might not be able to build a particularly competitive squad. And there's a lot of issues with football finance at this level. I believe some of them are exacerbated by the way that clubs are acting. And so I would like to see a bit more responsibility from those that are running clubs, rather than hiding behind Wrexham and MK Dons have raised the level of spending too much and that's unfair on the rest of us. That is a factor. That has made it harder for the average League Two club. But there's a real absence of any responsibility being taken by some of the other clubs for their own actions, at the end of the day. And that is what I wanted to say about Gills. Swindon 1, MK Dons 2 was a big game and a big win for MK. Now, when you play MK Dons, don't give the ball away in midfield, because with Aaron Collins at the top of the pitch, very quick, loves to run into space, very dangerous in open space. That's where he thrives. That's what Swindon did. Gave the ball away. I think it was Nichols. Collins ran in behind, fired the ball across. Gilby missed from close range. A let-off. They gave the ball away again in midfield. Minutes later, Collins got it again, moved it across to Gilby, smashed in a much harder chance to put them 1-0 up. That's his 10th league goal of the season. The 3rd season in a row he has hit double figures for MK, which is a great output for an attacking midfielder. Swindon got level, brilliant centre-forward play from Drynan, powerful running into the channel, secured the ball, latched onto it, held the defender off, waited for Clark to arrive from deep. Ball across, nice finish from Clark, 1-1, at which point both teams had some chances. It was kind of in the balance, but at the moment, it's MK Dons' time. This very much going to form in the end. A deep cross, Scott Hogan at the back post, a header that hit Ekpiteta and went in. MK season's basically going up, and look, we get a lot wrong. A lot of predictions that age badly, particularly in League Two. Very hard to predict. But the MK season is going almost exactly as we drew it up, which was, I doubt they'll fly out the traps. I think they might almost potter around a bit in the first half of the season. And then the managerial muscle memory that Paul Warne has for promotions and the strength of squad, based on one of the biggest playing budgets of all time in League Two, will probably mean that they finish quite strong when others are fading. 9 wins and 3 draws in their last 12 for 30 points.
But I had them second. And now it looks like they might come
Well, they are
first.
second.
Yeah, but they're now...
Literally everything we've said is coming true right now, they're second.
Title favourites.
Stop the count. End the league now. Swindon, 2 points in their last 4 games, 5 points in 6. The Autos slipping away, 5 points off third now. But Bromley are still league leaders, even if George wants to crown MK Dons title winners. They are 2 points clear, and they beat Bristol Rovers by a 1-0.
Yeah, big win, I would say, because Bristol Rovers are enjoying life to an extent, as much as they can under Steve Evans, with the threat of relegation not quite gone, so they're kind of still being kept up to their task to an extent, but they're playing pretty well, and they gave Bromley a decent game here. Michael Cheek is injured, which is not great news for Bromley at the moment, but they were able to cope without him. Nicky Kabamba led the line. He had a chance early on, but it was William Hondermark, formerly sponsored by this very podcast back in the day, who scored the goal to put Bromley 1-0 up. Bristol Rovers had some opportunities. It was a pretty level game from there on until Shaq Ford committed a pretty nasty foul to pick up a second yellow, having come off the bench at half time, and that kind of killed the game and meant that Bromley picked up a big win for them. I'm still, I've been saying for a few weeks, I'm not sure that Bromley are necessarily playing as well as they had been. Cheek's injury obviously doesn't help that. They are still top of the league. They've got a big gap to Notts County in fourth, and wins like this I think are going to be very important for them. So yeah, significant win for them, even if still not, they're still solid when they're not at their best, which should be enough to see them over the line. But I do think that MK might go past them, and it wouldn't surprise me if Cambridge do too.
A nice video posted on Bromley's Twitter account over the weekend. It's a video from pre-season, 12 minutes long, in which Andy Woodman addresses his players and sets a very clear target of 73 points, which they've just hit with 9 games remaining, and quite an interesting discussion off the back of it. It's one of those things, I'm glad they posted it. I really enjoyed that kind of behind-the-scenes access. It's great fun to watch back a pre-season meeting of a manager setting what feels like an ambitious target, knowing full well that they are absolutely smashing it out of the park. Some people saying, A, should this be kept in-house, this sort of like very specific direct manager to player target setting? And B, is there some sort of like, why do you get this out there when there's still 9 games to go and nothing's actually been, properly achieved yet? You make your own judgment, but go watch the video because it's nice. Big gap to fourth now, or big-ish. 4 points to Notts County because they lost 3-2 at home to Chesterfield. Now, this is a game with 5 goals where all I want to focus on initially is an incredible soap opera that happens in the first 20 minutes of this game. So Notts County and Chesterfield is a bit of a derby game, and there were some pretty spicy tackles early on, particularly 2 minutes into the game, one from Dobra on Tangen, where he flies in, gets there first, kicks the ball away, but he's flown in with such force that he catches Tangen on the way through, nails him, hurts him quite badly. And the ref gives a free kick. So he has seen the incident and he's deemed Dobra to have tackled, to have made a foul. But he doesn't book him. It's just a free kick. And you can see a lot of the Notts County players, including, more on him later, Ollie Norburn, getting quite angry and protesting to the ref and saying, well, hold on, if you think that's a foul and you've seen what he's done, was that not dangerous play, excessive force and things of that nature? Ref says no. Norburn, not happy, takes things into his own hands. Some sort of retribution. 5 minutes later, he sticks one on Dobra, basically just rakes down the back of his leg from behind. It's a clear yellow card and he receives one. Then Dobra scores. Really good work from Markanday in the build-up. Dobra fires home. I'm so excited I can't even speak. Dobra fires home. And who's diving to try and stop the shot, but sees the shot go through his legs into the net? Ollie Norburn. Then Dobra, who's a bit of a wind-up merchant, I think would be a nice way to describe him, stands in front of the Notts fans, Firstly, with his fingers in his ears, and then shushing them. And we've mentioned this before, but that is mixed messaging. At first, he's saying, I can't hear you. And then he's saying, be quiet. Well, which one is it? Which one is it, Armando? Just after the restart, Dobra gets the ball in space, and Norman has to close him down, tackles him, wins the ball. Ref doesn't give a foul. In doing so, Dobra's boot comes off. And Knott's play on. The ball is in play. The play continues. Dobra's on the floor. Norburn picks up his boot and throws it 20 yards off the pitch. And weirdly, it actually hits a ball on a cone on the side of the pitch and knocks the ball off. It's incredible accuracy on the throw from Norburn. He's picked up his boot. It's bright red. You can't miss it. And he's thrown it 20 yards. The ref gives himself like a good 4 or 5 seconds to work out what's gone on here and what he's meant to do about it. Stops the game. Books Norburn. Red card. Down to 10 men within 20 minutes. Pure soap opera with 4 or 5 different chapters there, which I hope I told well. Now, I'm guessing this is a yellow card for unsporting behaviour. I've been looking through the laws of the game. I think that's probably what it is. I certainly agree that this was unsporting behaviour almost as clearly as I could possibly understand that phrase.
Could it also, because it's not a foul, is it? So the play continues and the referee had to stop play. So I was going to say otherwise it would be delaying the restart.
Yeah, well, I went through all the examples of what unsporting behaviour can be as laid out by the laws. And this is only can be. Not definitive, of course. One of them is attempt to deceive the referee. It doesn't feel quite right. One of them is verbally distracts an opponent during play or at a restart. It's not a verbal distraction, but it is a distraction of an opponent during play. One of them, which I guess might be it, if you had to say what it is, and I love this, shows a lack of respect for the game. You've shown a lack of respect for the game, Ollie Norburn, by throwing his boot so that he can't wear it and play.
That verbal distraction was interesting. Imagine going up to the ref being like, ref, he just distracted me.
Well, you know what that's for, isn't it? It's for when
abuse.
It's for when like someone's through on goal and you scream and you shout like, well, miss it, or like balls coming across and you shout. No, it's for when you shout, leave it. It's for when you shout, leave it. It actually is. That is
miss it.
That's unsporting behaviour.
I suppose it definitely is that.
Anyway, it doesn't stop there. Tom Naylor runs in to give Norburn some stick and laugh at him when he's been sent off. Mandeville pats him on the arse a few times. Norburn actually keeps himself fairly composed in that situation. I mean, it's all very silly. I personally love this stuff. I think it's very funny. Some people might think it was all a bit much, but as a competitor that's really missing playing football at the moment because I'm injured, it just made me feel pretty alive. It's the sort of game I would have liked to have been a part of. And frankly, I think I might have been Armando Dobra in this situation.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
From that point, right, 10v11, 1-0 up already, Chesterfield. Both teams scored 2 goals each. The equaliser was a great move from Knotts. The ball made its way out wide to Jones. His cross was turned into his own net by Schwinkels for 1-1. Pearce crossed in for Naylor to head home. Pearce, a very good crosser from left back. Naylor, a very good late arriver into the box and scoring headers. Jody Jones set up Dennis. His header was saved and Platt scrambled in for 2-2. And that was all in the first half. 2-2 at half-time. Chesterfield pulled clear in the second half, I think, with the extra man and so much quality on the pitch. Braybrook picked out Mandeville, who won it for them. A massive win for Chesterfield. They've got a playoff spot at the moment, and that needs to be defended because there's a lot of teams that want one and aren't far off. And right now, George, this would be the 4th versus 6th playoff semi-final over 2 legs. And I pray that we get 2 more games between these two.
Yeah, it'll be spicy.
Slightly lower key affair at Harrogate, 0-1.
Speak for yourself.
Salford winners again.
Salford were good here. They had to be pretty patient. Harrogate held firm and gave them a decent game, but they had kind of multiple opportunities. Cole Stockton started the game alongside Ryan Graydon, who's now played 13 consecutive 90 minutes for those who are counting. I still just can't really believe. I just can't. He scored 1 goal in that time too. So it's 1 goal in 1,170 league minutes consistently. Wow. I just can't think there have been many occasions where an EFL striker has played that many minutes without being substituted. But there we go. Carl obviously really likes his January signing. It's also since he signed.
Yeah.
He signed, he started, and he's never been taken off in the league.
Do you think if Carl Robinson was a jockey and Ryan Graydon was a horse, the BHA would be calling up Carl for a chat over flogging him?
Too much use of the whip.
Yeah. What I like about Salford at the moment is, I reckon if you missed last Monday's pod, let's say someone just was so busy they never got around to it.
Yeah.
Shame on you, but also, fine, welcome back. You'd think that Salford was still losing every game because that was the case for the previous 3 weeks. But as a matter of fact, having lost 4 games in a row and 5 out of 6, they've now won 3 games in a row and 4 out of 5.
Yes, another streak continues. What I love about the EFL, one of the many things, is that in talking about Harrogate Town versus Salford City, I can say, what a wonderful assist from Fabio Barini. The ball breaks from the left-hand side, and it is just one of those through balls from a wide area where it just curls around in front of the onrushing defender directly into the path of Daniel Udo, the Salford striker, who came off the bench, obviously not for Graydon but for Stockton, and finished really well to make it 1-0. Barini also came close to scoring, to making it 2-0 when probably he should have squared the ball to Graydon. Graydon was obviously very disappointed that he didn't. But it does feel like Barini's having a bit of a part to play. Like he, at 34 years old, he clearly can't play as many minutes as Ryan Graydon. But in his 375 minutes so far, he's already got 2 assists and 2 goals. He comes into the game late for the last 25 minutes or so and often impacts it, and has certainly done that in the last couple. Came off the bench against Walsall in midweek and scored the goal to make it 1-0, and then came off the bench against Harrogate and got the very good assist to make it 1-0. So, it was a signing that I probably thought would have next to no impact, but actually Barini doing quite a lot for Salford to try and secure their playoff berth.
I don't remember spending much time when Barini signed for Salford working out how over the hill he was. And obviously he's only started 1 and he's come off the bench 17 times, which sort of suggests the idea that he might be a bit over the hill. But he was playing for Sampdoria last season in Serie B. But his career, the season before that, he scored 9 Serie B goals for Samp. The season before that, he scored 20 goals in the Turkish Super League for Fatih Karagümrük. The only clubs he's ever played for are Chelsea, Swansea, Roma, Liverpool, Sunderland, Milan, Hellas Verona, Fatih Karagümrük, and Sampdoria. And then he pitched up this is absolutely astounding.
Yeah.
Another fun one. Simon Weaver.
Weave Dog.
Was appointed player manager of Harrogate Town, May 2009, before Fabio Barini had played a single professional football match. Wow. Longevity. But possibly relegation as well, unless they win more games. Oldham 1, Grimsby 2. This was a big game, big result. And aren't Oldham coming on so strong? Who saw this happening?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All I know, George, and I'm a competitive man. We've established that. I prefer my predictions to be better than your predictions on balance, but I will recognise, as with Cambridge, you had the vision when it came to Oldham's deep run towards a playoff spot, and now I'm the one drunk on lactic acid. Very cagey first half in this game. Second half sort of loosened up a little bit. Both teams trading half chances, but very much in the balance. Walker hits the bar for Grimsby from the edge of the box, and then an Oldham break. Nice play from Woods and Hammond initially to launch the counter-attack. Ball from Hammond forward. Fondop showing his value as the big man striker, occupying the young defender, Maldini Kukuri. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right. Maldini Kukuri.
It's a great name.
Running onto it and finishing was Alessandro Del Piero, Josh Hawkes.
Very good.
Winning it for Oldham. So they're in dreamland. They're still alive. They're feeling alive. It's 5 wins in 6 for Oldham. It's 5 clean sheets in that time. They're 7 points off the playoffs. They've got 2 games in hand. There's 5 teams between them and 7th as well. It can't happen. It won't happen. But it could happen.
Could happen.
That's basically just sums up the whole hour and a half of podcasting across the 3 leagues.
Yeah.
Can't happen, won't happen, but could happen. George Crewe 0, Walsall 3. The first steps for the Saddlers since Matt Sadler was unsaddled as Saddlers manager, and they played pretty well.
In the most peak Matt Sadler's way from last season possible, when they were good, where they had very little of the ball. When they had it, they were really direct and really effective and really efficient in front of goal, and it spelled a 3-0 win. Now, we'll go through the goals first. One thing to note is that Darren Byfield, in charge for this one, did something that hasn't been done all season at Walsall, where he gave Albert Adoma a start and kept him on the pitch for the whole 90 minutes. Hadn't played a single 90 this season, only played 3 in the whole of last season, and he scored in the 4th and 91st minute. So that was a decision that aged pretty well. Adoma putting Walsall 1-0 up before a brilliant ball from him put Daniel Kanu through, who was taken out, penalty awarded, but Lawler saved the penalty from Kanu. Not to worry really, because Walsall just continued to effectively let Crewe have the ball do very little with it, and then when they got on it, be pretty effective in terms of creating chances. And Presley profited from that. Again, an Adoma assist. So Adoma got 2 goals, an assist, and assisted a penalty as well in this display. And I intriguingly had seen a few Walsall fans complaining about Adoma's role in the Walsall squad under Sadler, and yet this kind of went the other way. He was then set through 1-on-1 in the 91st minute, still full of running, and finished with a lovely dink to finish over Lawler to make it 3-0. Sadler sacked, Byfield comes in, and this happens. Obviously, the kind of the if you want to judge something on outcome, you could say that the shackles are off, and Sadler departing has created an environment that is more conducive towards winning games of football. I think it's kind of a bit early to make those kind of judgments. What I would say is it did feel like Walsall as a football club probably needed a clean break and a fresh start. The scar tissue from last season will still probably be there, and I guess in Sadler leaving, that will alleviate a little bit. And it did feel like Walsall were enjoying playing here in a way that maybe we'd see them be a bit on edge in recent weeks. Crewe fans not happy, as you'd imagine. Their top 7 chances dealt a big blow by Walsall winning this one. And they're now to sit level on points on 56 points, just 3 points off the playoffs. So, big win for Walsall to keep their dreams alive. Be interesting to see what they do in terms of a managerial appointment. On the basis of Saturday's performance, they should probably sit tight for a little bit, just to see if even just taking Sadler out of the dugout is enough to get them to kind of return to the kind of form we know they're capable of.
Cheltenham beat Shrews 2-0. This one would have been sweet for Cheltenham manager Steve Cotterill. Not a lot in the game, in truth, and Shrews had the better chances in the first half. McDermott put wide, very well placed early on, and Ewan Morgan, who looks to me like a bit of a free kick specialist. In my notes, I tried to write Morgan FK specialist. I wrote Morgan FK socialist. Wow. Not sure what a free kick socialist would look like, but answers in the comments. That's good engagement farming, isn't it? League 2 in politics and typos. He hit the bar with a free kick socialist, Ewan Morgan. Jordan Thomas said, go on then, I'll show some quality and win this game. 20 yards out, bottom corner. Cheers. 1-0 Cheltenham. The second goal, sharing from a set piece. So that's a good win for Cheltenham. At the bottom of League 2, we had this week's Sky Bet surprise. Newport beating Barnet at a price of 7-1 with Sky Bet. Now, unbelievably, about a month ago, they also beat Salford at an even bigger price than this. And I would be astounded if there have been many winners across the EFL this season at 7-1 or more. They went behind as well when Callum Stead ran onto a long ball forward, sped in behind Delaney and scored. But Newport came back into it. And in winning this game, they jump out of the relegation zone. And they fully deserve the win as well. The win against Salford, frankly, was... well, it was a 3-1 win, but they took their chances, shall we say, and then they had to hope for the best defensively. In this game, they just played better than Barnet in the second half, and that'll just give them so much hope that this is legit, that they can actually stay up this season after so long spent in the relegation zone. Ben Lloyd had a good performance after Spellman came off injured. Lloyd off the right, providing what Spellman does, a bit of lefty quality, cutting in off the right. He crossed, Evans backheeled, Camwer smashed in. Bobby Camwer's first goal of the season with his 47th shot.
Wow.
How good is that? Jenkins had a chance to put Newport ahead, but squandered it. Ben Lloyd hit the bar to put Newport ahead, and you just wondered if they were going to run out of luck. But no, Biggins driving forward from midfield, slipping in, Nyakua, ball across, James Kroll, his first goal for Newport, a massive goal. James Kroll was the January transfer that could have been created in a laboratory, in that it's Newport County signing a young Welsh talent, prolific at youth level with Cardiff City, but who had to move to the Welsh Prem to cut his teeth at senior level. Kroll scored 29 goals and set up 9 in 48 league games for Penny Bont, and is now a Newport County player. Hasn't had loads of opportunity and hasn't really taken the ones that he has been given so far until he finished this chance to secure a big 3 points. And Newport have got so little in terms of goals from their strikers this season. Only 11 goals between Baker Richardson, Garner and Apoku, and so few poachers goals as well, but they got one here. They needed a couple of good saves from their goalkeeper, Jordan Wright, as well. He stood up to the task, and they win from 1-0 down for the second time in a matter of weeks, having done so against Tranmere as well. And that's particularly significant in a relegation battle where the teams down the bottom are picking up so few points and showing so little quality. Team spirit, determination, mentality has to be a big factor. And Newport have now won from behind when conceding first, twice in the last couple of games. The other 4 teams in the bottom 5, that's Harrogate, Barrow, Tranmere and Crawley, not one of them has won a game this season when conceding first in a combined 84 instances. So it's only one potential measure of character. But it's so important in a relegation battle. It's why Newport are now outside the relegation zone, winning at 7-1 at Barnet. This week's Sky Bet surprise. And they're out the relegation zone all the way to 21st. They jumped over Crawley as well, because Crawley and Barrow and Tranmere all drew 0-0 in League 2 this weekend. Barrow 0-0 at home to Accrington. This was the first game in charge for Sam Foley, who steps from a role as a very senior player to being their manager until the end of the season. He is their 5th manager of the season. They sacked Dino Marmria after 6 games in which they got 4 points, having sacked Paul Gallagher after 5 games in which he got no points, having sacked Andy Wing after 19 league games this season when they were 18th on 20 points. 0-0 draw in his first game. 0-0 in Crawley as well. Not a great home performance from Colchester United, and a 0-0 draw there. And then Fleetwood and Tranmere drew 0-0 as well. Pete Wild was in the Tranmere dugout, having started the season in the Fleetwood dugout. He'll be there until the end of the season. I kind of feel for Tranmere and Pete Wild, it's got to be a case of like both feeling each other out. I can absolutely see why Tranmere have gone for Pete Wild. I have to squint a bit to see why Pete Wild is jumping at this opportunity, other than the sense that Tranmere, I think they are perceived a big club at the level, and there's got to be a sense of like, if I can get this place going, there could be a decent ceiling. But I would suggest that strong recent evidence suggests that that's going to be really hard to do.
There's also the takeover stuff, which I guess means it's one of the longest protracted takeovers ever, but I guess there's an element where they might not be able to plan for too further ahead. Wild might see it as an opportunity to put himself front and centre if the takeover goes through. So yeah, we'll see.
I really like him as a manager. So I think in that sense, I've got to be pretty positive about that appointment. What a week in League 2. Hope you've enjoyed the recap of it. Same for League 1 and for the Championship, wherever you found this one. Cheers and go well.